Hello everyone, Ace here, and today I have some good news for a change if you are a Star Wars fan. That being that Disney's infamous Galactic Starcruiser Hotel is officially no more, because it has been announced that it will be closing down permanently, with the last so-called voyage taking place in late September. Keep in mind that this hotel only opened up in March of 2022, and was something that Disney absolutely tried to push. Yet despite all of that, it is still shutting down after only just a year and a half of operation. Now, if you're new to this topic and aren't exactly aware of how this could in any way be considered a good thing for Star Wars fans, well, allow me to explain here. In a nutshell, the decision by Disney to acquire Star Wars has been a disaster for Star Wars fans due to the treatment of the IP by Disney, and it has essentially been this way right from the very beginning. The sequel trilogy started off as a soulless cash grab and ended as a case study in how not to do Star Wars films, with frequent breaks in established lore that directly not only hurts the sequel films, but also negatively impacts the earlier Star Wars films as well, thanks to a slew of brand new plot holes that were introduced via the sequels. I could also talk about the High Republic story arc, which has been itself a massive dumpster fire when it comes to Star Wars lore as well, one that I would even go so far as to say is even bigger than the sequels, due to the sheer amount of damage that they have done to the depiction of the Jedi Order. But moving on to the Galactic Starcruiser itself, it is worth noting that it also has done some damage to the lore, thanks in part due to the canon that was introduced because of it, most notably the Halcyon Legacy comic book series. But let's now talk about the actual hotel itself, which became infamous for charging just under $5,000 for 2 nights for 2 people, at a bare minimum. With such insanely expensive prices, you might perhaps think that at least you would be getting the best of the best from this hotel. But that wasn't exactly the case either, as the Galactic Starcruiser also gained a notorious reputation for having everything look so cheap. By now you're probably wondering what's even the point of booking a trip to this particular hotel, and the answer was that it was intended to be a roleplay experience. The idea being that you were supposed to be inserted into the Star Wars universe and got to act out within it. However, even that appears to have fallen flat, as despite the fact that this hotel was only designed to house around 100 guests, it appears that it was doing so poorly that in certain situations there weren't even enough guests for some of the roleplay activities that the hotel had scheduled. In one example reported by the Washington Post, guests were expected to staff the deflector shields of the ship in order to keep the shields maintained during an attack, but there were simply not enough guests for this particular activity, meaning that the Galactic Starcruiser should have been destroyed during this roleplay event, but it wasn't, and there was no real explanation for how the ship supposedly survived, resulting in a massive plot hole in this roleplay experience. With this in mind, I trust that it is now obvious why this hotel has failed in such a spectacular manner, and why I consider it to be a good thing for Star Wars fans as a whole. Hopefully this is a wake-up call that Disney will actually pay attention to, because now the failures of that company are affecting their park attractions as well, which has for a very long time been one of the major money makers for Disney. Now for those curious, I will of course be leaving a link to an archive of the article used in this video, so you can check it out for yourself if you should so desire. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.